welcome back to Tax Chats, looking at all things international tax. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at the hybrid mismatch rules. Now, these were introduced in Australia around 2018, so they have been around for a few years, but it's a pretty common area where a lot of companies really struggle with. And it's so difficult to advise on because it really requires a pretty comprehensive understanding of the group structure, as well as the transaction flows within the group and understanding where tax is paid. So in order to help clients understand and manage their hybrid mismatch risk, there are some criteria that the ATO have provided in PCG 2021-5, and that explains kind of a risk rating framework around the rules that you should have considered before you claim a deduction in Australia in relation to those intercompany transactions. And the ATO's expectation is pretty high in relation to this, so you really need to have done some due diligence in Australia to make sure that you can claim those deductions. Now, one of the good ways to do this is look at the group structure. One of the most common issues we see is US parented groups that have an Australian subsidiary, and the US tax treatment of the Australian entity actually gives rise to a hybrid mismatch outcome. So if you have a US parent, it's probably another important reason to make sure that you're making those inquiries. And even if you don't have a US parent, it's really common for groups now, particularly larger multinational groups, to have some understanding of these rules because they're in other countries as well. So my, top tip is ask the questions if you're foreign owned about whether there have been hybrid mismatch considerations already being done in other areas, and then make sure you're also considering them from an Australian perspective. There are detailed disclosures in the IDS, and they're becoming more and more detailed each year, so you do need this information to be able to do your tax return and do it properly. So there are just a few little things to keep in mind when we're looking at hybrid mismatches. As I said, it's a really complicated area, so it's probably best to seek professional advice in this area. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and happy to have a chat. I look forward to seeing you at our next tax chat.